Here we go. Welcome back to another episode of Microphone Monday. Today I'm gonna talk about how my 8 years of doing judo. How do you pronounce it? I think you pronounce it judo. I did that for 8 years. Yes, I've never really talked about this, but I'm gonna talk about it today, and I'm gonna talk about how this helped me with learning flips and all kinds of skills, okay? The goal of this video is, if you did a sport or if you're doing a sport and you want to get into another sport, those things can help each other, okay? For example, I did 8 years judo, how do you pronounce it? I'm gonna talk about how that improved, how that helped me with learning new stuff. So, respect the skills.
Respect the skills.
And leave a like for Leo. And let's get into this video. I started doing judo when I was 8. I quit when I was 16, so that's about 8 years. I did a lot of competitions and stuff. I'll pop up a photo of not all my trophies, but a couple of my trophies right there. As you can see, beautiful. Okay, let's talk about the most important thing that changed, okay? Because of judo. So yeah, one of the most important things that I learned with that sport is rolling and falling and crashing on the ground. Front rolls, backwards rolls, sideways rolls. Of course, with that sport, someone throws you like that onto the ground. You gotta know how to take the impact. I learned that very good. Of course, if you do a certain sport for 8 whole years, at some point you're gonna get pretty good at it, okay? This sport, like flips, free running, trampolining, and flips, I trained that now for about 4 years. So that's half the time that I trained judo. Crashing onto the ground and taking the impact, that's the biggest thing that I learned with this. That's also, I think, the reason why I never had an injury, like a true official injury, never. I think that's all because of that sport, that I did that for 8 years. My body has gotten used to that, and now I'm so used to it, and my body's adapted to that and got strong enough to the point where I never break anything, because I can absorb the landings, but also I can avoid falling altogether with that sport. So let's move on to the second thing, how this helped me with learning my flips, and not only my flips, just skills in general, you know. It improved my whole body. So if you are doing a sport, or you did a sport, and you're getting into a new sport, let's say flips, use your old sport, or the sport that you're still doing, use that to help you with learning new stuff. Like, that's the thing with a lot of people.
I did this sport for so many years, then I did that sport for a couple years,
but they never really use it ever again. It doesn't matter if you quit with a sport and start a new sport. Take the things that you learned with that old sport, take that and use it with your new sport and the new skills that you're gonna learn. The second thing is, I started exploring movements, just movements in general, and things with my body, okay, at a very young age, very early on. Yeah, and because of that, before I even started my journey with flips and other skills, I already understood my body. I already had the time to learn about my body. What is my limit? What can't I do? What are my weaknesses? What are my strengths? Before I even started. So when I started training, I already knew what to do, kind of, you know? So that's the thing. If you did a sport before your new sport, you have like a head start. You already have experience with sports in general, movements in general. Take that stuff that you already know and use that, okay? So that's the whole point of this video. I'm explaining this with my own story. So, and another thing is, a couple minutes ago I already said this a little bit, but after 8 years of doing a sport, especially a sport like judo, where you crash onto the ground the whole time, you use your body pretty intensively. And a lot of sports you use your body intensely, but judo especially, because yeah, you crash onto the ground, people throw you onto the ground, you need to throw people onto the ground, not the ground but mats, of course, but those mats, I can tell you, it's not so soft all the time. You need, like, that's a funny little quick tip here, you need to be your own mat. That's seriously, oh man, I learned to land onto the ground. One of the biggest reasons why judo can help with learning flips. If you start training flips, you don't land it first try. You're gonna fall, okay? You're gonna fall on the ground. With judo, you do nothing else than falling on the ground the whole time. It's a big part of that sport, falling on the freaking ground. So if you're already experienced with that, and you're gonna start learning flips, you already know how to land onto the ground. So that's not, that whole problem is gone already. So that's, I think, the biggest benefit that judo has when it comes to learning flips. Let's move on to the third important thing. Your joints and your whole body, especially like your joints and your muscle fibers and I don't know, all that stuff, it's just a lot stronger after so many years of doing a sport. So your joints, like your wrists, we wanna especially warm up our wrists, okay? Your ankles, I never have wrists or ankle problems. I see and heard
So many people
having problems with their wrists, their knees, their ankles, their all joints and all kinds of nasty things. I have never, the 19 years that I'm on this planet, I've never had one single injury.
What's an injury?
I think an injury is where you freak up, you fall, whatever happens, and you can't train for more than a day. I've never had that. I had problems, I had things where I couldn't train for a couple hours, but that is it. I've never had that I couldn't train for a whole entire day, for a whole 24 hours. Never had that. That's the proof how effective judo can be, okay? Especially the crashing part where you know, learn how to absorb the impact. Your body is just a lot stronger. It's literally a safety mechanism. Just in daily life, sometimes you walk somewhere and you trip. If you know how to prevent your body from falling, or if you know how to fall, that can make a massive difference. Sometimes people trip and they break something. Or if you fall down the stairs, how to take damage, how to take the hits. I literally learned, I taught myself how to fall down the stairs on purpose. Not like with 3 backwards rolls and 4 forwards rolls into it, but like slide down the stairs exactly how you would fall down the stairs. But anyways, that's a whole nother story. I'll make a tutorial about it one day, how to fall down the stairs on purpose. Those were the 3 main things about how my sport improved my new sport. I've never had a single injury, and I think that is because of judo. 8 years, from when I was 8 all the way till 16, now I'm 19. So sports are very important. Whoa, I've never really done like this. I never really done like this. I can just talk like this. Okay guys, I hope you got value out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. Think back about your previous sports. Try to see, okay, what is useful? What is the useful stuff that I learned with that old sport that I can still do with the new skills that I'm gonna learn and that I'm learning right now. That's the goal of this video. And that's what I did. Of course, with judo, the rolls, the crashing onto the ground, my body got used to it. Use it. Don't throw it out. That was another episode of Microphone Monday. Guys, respect the skills.
Respect the skills.
And leave a like for Leo. Little red. What? Okay. I gotta say what I was saying. Have a great day. And I'm gonna catch you on the flip side. Peace. Woo! Use your old sport or the sport that you're still doing. Use that to help you with learning new stuff.